The better Donald Trump does among African-American voters, the more race-obsessed the Democrats and their shameless media enablers become. When young African-American leaders were recently invited to the White House by the president, they were instantly derided by the left.
It was not a summit. It was a Make America Great rally. They used some young blacks as props, which really is an insult to them.
Oh, insult to them, Al, really? Aren't those racist sentiments, by the way? Isn't it wrong to lump people into political camps based on their skin color? Or believe that only authentic African Americans are the ones who despise Donald Trump? And I thought stereotyping people based on their skin color was the definition of racism. And why should a reverend be speaking in these terms at all, by the way? I think what's going on here is they're worried about their prospects. And so now the left are engaged in a coordinated effort to brand Donald Trump as a racist.
We have a white nationalist president who's a threat to American democracy.
People know when you say nationalism, smart people know what that is a dog whistle for.
Well, let me ask you,
and it's a wink and a nod to white nationalism.
I know it sounds cynical, but this man doubled down after 11 beautiful people were shot and killed while worshiping. For what? Some ideal of whiteness that Donald Trump represents and spews out of his mouth every single day.
Yeah, that's what Donald Trump thinks about every morning when he wakes up. Whiteness. Come on, you're better than that. And then there is this tiresome claim.
Trump knows the only way that they can energize their base is through fear.
I thought Sarah Silverman was supposed to be funny. Oh, well, oh, really? Then talk about fear-mongering. What was Oprah Winfrey doing in Atlanta today, if not fear-mongering?
I'm here today because of the men and because of the women who were lynched, who were humiliated, who were discriminated against, who were suppressed, who were repressed and oppressed, and I refuse to let their sacrifices be in vain.
Gotta hand it to Oprah. She's a great speaker. But I kind of liked her better when she was giving away Toyotas and refrigerators. To try to tie the candidacy of the Georgia Republican gubernatorial candidate Brian Kemp to the scourge of racism and even lynchings? Come on, Oprah. It's dehumanizing. It's completely baseless. It's totally cruel. And again, I say, you're much better than that. And you're much bigger than that. And I'd also say this to Oprah Winfrey. How is this living our best life now? This kind of broad brush race baiting desensitizes us to the real racists out there who should be condemned and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law when they commit heinous crimes and use violence to hurt and maim people of a different race. By the way, what did Kemp ever do aside from running against a black opponent? Nothing. For a taste of true racial obsession and outright racism, here are what a few prominent Democrats said this week that didn't get all that much attention.
What do you think of Cory Booker's? And you didn't comment on him, and you feel free.
Oh, I adore him.
What do you think about him saying kicked him in the shins, essentially? Start to get to that kind of political.
Well, that was Eric Holder.
Yeah, Eric Holder.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know they all look alike.
No, they don't.
Our state director is Indian American, but he does an amazing job. Our director of all constituent services, she's African American, but she does an even more incredible job than you could ever imagine.
I still can't believe that comment. All right. Well, look, come on. It's all race all the time. And in Florida, Project Veritas caught a staffer of a Democratic candidate for governor, Andrew Gillum, saying this about Gillum's promises and about the state itself.
Fairy tales in the modern day begin with once I am elected.
This is a bad state.
Okay.
It's a cracker state.
Okay, now imagine if a conservative staffer for Ron DeSantis was saying something similar. I mean, it would be wall-to-wall news day and night, and he and the candidate would be labeled as racist. And a pathetic and a transparent double standard is what we just showed you, because you know they're really not going to cover that. That's just some fringe guy making a video. Democrats like Gillum and Stacey Abrams in Georgia are featured in endless puff pieces across all media. And most of these pieces focus on their race as their biggest selling point for the candidacy. Okay, I assume they're about more than that. They have views and they have ideas, but it's always about race and race for the most part alone. But black Republicans like John James running for Senate in Michigan, or Omar Kudrat, a Muslim Republican running for Congress for California's 52nd district, they're hardly covered at all. So I guess race doesn't matter if you're a Republican. It's not historic at all. The reason, again, for this leftist race baiting, Trump's policies are working for African Americans, and the results are now beginning to come in. Democrats sense it. They're losing their grip on the black community. Black unemployment is down, black entrepreneurism is up, and the polls are moving. Check out this new Harvard-Harris poll. A year ago, President Trump's approval rating among black Americans was a paltry 10%. Today, it's almost triple at 29%. And look at this. A year ago, only 17% of African Americans approved of the president's handling of the economy. Today, 40% approve of his economic prowess. And this may be the most revealing number of all on the issue of immigration. 15% of black Americans liked Trump's approach last year. Not great. This year, again, it's almost doubled. 29% approve of Trump's immigration stance. My friends, you might not like everything he tweets. I get that. But Donald Trump is standing up for all Americans. He doesn't care about your skin color. He doesn't care about your ethnicity or what religion you practice. He's about America, and that is a good thing. And back to Obama for a moment, because he's out there campaigning all across the country. Aside from his incredible example of being, he's a great father and himself a historic figure. You have to ask this question: what did Obama actually do, substantively do for black America? African American wages during his 8 years were flat. Obamacare was a complete and total disaster. And he did little to protect the black community from the competition of cheap, illegal labor. Hardly talked about it. Do not let the race hucksters convince you to embrace the failure of the past. For the Democrats, this is not about protecting minority groups. It's about regaining raw political power, even if it means turning American against American and stopping the economic revival we've seen, the best I think we've seen in decades, across all races and all ethnicities. And that's the angle.